But I would be very, very wary of who you ask business advice from.
100%. Don't take advice from people who are less successful than you want to be.
Yeah.
Not just where you're at now. If you see someone who's like one step ahead of you, you can get some advice from them. They can teach you some things.
What episode is this? Episode 12?
12. Whoa. Almost a teenager.
We can almost drive.
We can almost drive.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 12 of My
Lash 2 Brain Cells.
I'm your host, Maddie Morris.
And I'm also your host, Elliot Morris.
And we have a super good episode for you today. I don't know what we're going to title it, but I think it's going to be if I could go back in time, what I would do starting my lash business from scratch.
Yes. Or if you had to go back in time.
If I had to go back in time.
Because I feel like if we had the choice, if we had the choice, I would probably go back in time. Yeah. I feel like you could just.
I'd go back in time and meet you again.
Oh. Wait, this is a business episode. We're not trying to get all sweet and sappy.
I'd go back in time and I'd have like a better pickup line for you. Because I made the first move with Elliot.
You did, and I would go back in time and have you do that again.
I don't think my pickup line was very good.
I thought it was perfect.
What did I say to you? What was the first thing I ever said to you?
I don't know. You said, hi, I'm
Madison. I think I asked you about your Halloween costume.
Oh, yeah. You said, what are you, like Hugh Hefner?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm the boy from the Polar Express.
I think that's what I said to you.
And then you were like, this is an adult party. Why are you just say you're Hugh Hefner?
We met at a Halloween party and I made the first move on Elliot.
She did.
But this episode I'm really excited about because it's going to be very beginner friendly. It is going to be, if I could go back in time, what I would do to my lash business to get here faster, right? Because I love where we are today, but there are things that I could have done to get it here faster.
Yep. And I feel like this is going to be a very valuable episode for anyone who is earlier on in their career, or honestly, at any point in their career that is before selling lots of digital products and selling tons of trainings, because we're going to go through the whole timeline of like what you would do to optimize every step of your career. I'm super excited about it. I think we were workshopping this episode at dinner and I thought it was pretty cool. I think it'll be fun.
I'm excited too.
Also, I forgot we were filming today, so I look like a schlub. Although I feel very good in my Brandy Melville sweatpants.
Please excuse that Elliot looks like a schlub.
But
maybe we shouldn't post the video of this episode because
also
like
if you're watching on video, these sweatpants, or if you're listening,
Elliot's a Brandy boy.
I'm a Brandy boy. Okay, for our two male listeners, and or if you're a girl and you have a man in your life who you want to get him some great sweatpants, Brandy Melville. They're so good.
I know it's made for 12-year-old.
It's made for 12-year-old girls, but they fit so well. And you can't get the ones that are the blend. You got to get the 100% cotton ones. They're like a thicker, like 100% cotton. The cut is so good.
All the Lightheart boys this week have been walking around the shop with their Brandy Melville sweatpants.
Nah, Lightheart Caleb put me onto it.
We were like watching the game the other night.
Me and Caleb and Caleb's cousin all walked into Brandy Melville.
Yeah, no,
just the three of us.
We were watching the football game last night. And Elliot and Caleb were like, let's walk across the street and get some Brandy Melville sweatpants. And I was like, what are you, 12-year-old girls?
Because Caleb already had a pair. And so he was like, bro, they're so good. You got to check them out. So I was like, okay, we'll see what the hype's about. And then I tried them on. Holy cow. I did not try them on in the Brandy Melville because the
whole team's been dripped out in Brandy all week.
Yeah, no, but I got these. I'm getting every color. They are the best sweatpants ever. And $32. Can't beat that. Best sweatpants ever for $32? Nah.
We have 8 points we want to make today, and I want to preface this with when I became a lash artist, the lash industry was at a very different place than it is today. And I'm not like a lash dinosaur by any means. Like, I've only been lashing for 7 years now, but the industry was vastly different than when I began. So I can't even imagine, if you've been a lash veteran for 20 plus years, you're probably like, just like confused with everything. But when I started, there was no mentors, beauty coaches that I knew of. I wasn't on Instagram. I didn't have an Instagram for the first 2 years of my business doing lashes.
True.
I started out working for a salon. I started out on commission.
Yep.
And then even when I went on my own, I really didn't have any network of people that I was looking around at or looking up to. So I wish I had a podcast like this, especially, that just gave me everything that I needed before I started. Because when I started, I was a hot mess. I lived with my
You were.
parents.
Ugh.
I was still like, 18. I had like a 2-week panic attack when I started my business.
That is true.
I had no
That
idea
is
how to
true.
pay my taxes. I had no idea how to do anything. So point number 1 that we wanted to make, if I could go back in time and tell my little baby, sweet Maddie self.
Okay, so here's the premise. We go back in time.
Set up the story.
We can give baby Maddie advice for her career, but it has to fit on one sheet of paper. So we can't tell him everything, and we can't say invest in Bitcoin at $1,000. But we could say
I did invest in Bitcoin at $1,000.
well at 10K,
Yeah.
which is all right.
Yeah.
It's all right. But we are going to go through like step by step how to optimally navigate through your career, just what we could have improved.
How to be smart, babe.
Yeah. What I honestly, a lot of it is stuff you did do, because I think you did make a lot of really good choices throughout your career.
No, even though I was young and didn't know what I was doing, I was very smart.
You figured it out.
I was very smart.
Yeah.
I'm a smart cookie.
Yeah, that's true. I would agree. I can vouch. Okay, what's the first thing? So you get right out of, or no, you go into aesthetic school. How would you make that decision?
Well, number 1, I would go, if I could go back in time, I would choose this career over and over and over again. I would never pick a different career path knowing what I know now.
True.
I would choose lashes every single opportunity presented. Like
you
if
wouldn't choose a different aspect of the beauty industry?
No.
Different genre?
No.
Stay in lashes?
I would stay in lashes.
Why is that?
If anything, I would go harder in the lash.
Oh, absolutely.
Space. Because in the beginning, I was kind of teetering on like, well, I became
you did aesthetics, you did waxing.
I became a licensed esthetician. And then I think a lot of us start out as licensed estheticians, right? That's kind of just like the umbrella thing. And then I did skincare, waxing, everyone's booties. We talked about it. Makeup, bridal makeup was my specialty.
Oh, yeah, that was your specialty.
My specialty was bridal makeup.
Your first specialty was, when we met, you're like, yeah, I am a professional makeup artist.
Bridal makeup artist,
I was like, oh, super cool. Awesome.
Yeah. And it was so funny because back then I didn't know like where lashes would go, but everyone was telling me lashes are not going to die. This is not a trend. This isn't going anywhere. Like,
and they were right.
They were right. And truly, like, I can see it being at kind of like the somewhat top of this industry now, looking over everything I know now. I'm like, wow, this isn't going anywhere. Lash trends are constantly evolving. Like, even lash extensions in other countries are evolving. Like, it's not just a thing in the US or the UK. Like, lash extensions are global. They're worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide.
Yeah. Yeah, they're everywhere. And the industry's only getting better and better and better and better. And even product lines are getting better.
True.
Pre-mades are getting better.
Oh, yeah. Products today are way better than when you started.
Yeah. Like, being a lash artist 20 years ago probably sucked because it's like...
yeah, because they were gluing actual mink hair onto people's faces.
Everyone's using... they
were out back shaving their chinchillas to get hair
and using freaking ancient expired crazy glue.
Just using actual super
Everyone's
glue.
retention was 2.5 days. Sets were probably $10. Like, I don't even know. But lashes are just, they've advanced so much to the point where it's like a common household thing to like know someone that has their lashes done.
It's true.
Like, even you can talk to anyone in the US, everyone knows someone that has their lashes done.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Everyone's either had them done, wants them done, can't get them done,
it's
knows
only getting
someone,
bigger.
Their mama gets them done.
It's only getting
It's
bigger.
only getting bigger. I truly see that. Like, I think
100%.
that I will still have a clientele in 20 years.
Well, because the thing, it has all the things that make a great industry. Like, it is something that makes people's lives easier.
Mm-hmm.
It ends up being something that people get addicted to.
Yeah.
They
are addicting.
It saves them time every day.
There's some drug. There's some effect that lash extensions have.
Oh, yeah, 100%. It's sticky. The product for lash extensions compared to a lot of other parts of the beauty industry is cheaper. So that means that you are better compensated for your time and skill than you are on just how expensive your products are.
Yeah. Because, like, for hair extensions, like...
Hair extensions.
Because hair
a lot of
extensions...
facials.
Yeah.
Use really expensive equipment, really expensive
the cost
products.
of goods, the cogs are good.
No, cogs are great for lashes because it's like once you get to the like luxury price point, like,
even if you're using the highest quality product, you're still making so much of a
you're
profit.
still only paying like $18 a tray.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
So
I would choose lashes over and over again, and I would actually. I would have picked lashes sooner had I known how explosive of an industry it is and how much opportunity there is within the lash industry.
Yeah, you would have skipped right over doing Brazilians.
Yeah, I could have gone without that.
Yeah?
I could have skipped my manzillion
I feel like
days.
that was a very, very important part of your career.
It was a character
building. It was a formative moment. It was character building.
It was character building for me. A lot of people, after listening to the first couple episodes, they've like clients of mine, they're like, "Are you okay? Like,
a lot
are
of people
you scarred?" I'm like, "No, like I really just built."
I think you used the trauma to make you funnier.
I don't think
I think it worked.
I don't think I was traumatized by doing waxing.
I was traumatized by you doing.
I liked it.
I liked it.
I liked it because waxing makes you feel like a superhero. Like I would walk in the room, I would do a Brazilian in 12 and a half minutes. I would show up, I'd be like, "Hey girl,
wham bam, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, lay down, be right back, come on back."
Spread them.
Okay, don't cut that out. Do not say that. But yes, I would say that. And then I would be like, it was to make someone feel comfortable when they are scared of you is a very important skill. I will say that.
Yeah, you make me feel comfortable when I'm scared of you.
I mean, waxing, you're in the most vulnerable position with a stranger, and you have to make that person feel not only comfortable, but safe and good and cared about. And like,
I could never.
I would make my clients feel like superstars. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, girl, like, you're gorge, you're perfect. What's up this weekend?" I think waxing built a lot of character for me. But I would choose lashes over and over again. I would have makeup was kind of a safe space for me because I knew in my head what a makeup artist was, and lashes was kind of this unknown career, and there's a lot of mystery around it. And makeup felt very comfortable for me, and that's why I kind of held on to it. In my head, I was always like, well, I could always be a makeup artist. I could always, do more weddings or do more brides or whatever. But once I got in the lash groove, that was it. That was it for me.
Whatever. If you went back, would you go to the same aesthetic school? Would you go to a fancy one? Would you go to a cheap one? What would you do?
Great question. Number 2 was stop. When you are choosing a beauty school or an aesthetics program, whatever you want to call it, I would not go to the most like elite, expensive aesthetic school.
Save your money.
If you want to be a lash artist, right? Like if you want to be, a skincare specialist, an esthetician, like that is going to be your specialty. Go to like a more skin focused institute. Sure. However, if you're going into lashes, I would find the cheapest, quickest beauty school you can possibly go to, because I cannot name a single beauty school that has heavily focuses on lash extensions. They either don't teach it at all, or they don't even touch on it.
Yeah.
And I have so many girls message me and they're like, I got my license, I went to school, but now I'm 20-30K in debt, and I only took.
It's like, why?
I only went to school for, a year so that I could learn lashes, and I am down in the dumps about it. I'm like, yeah, unfortunately, like that is how it is. I went to beauty school. I did the beauty school thing. And yes, I know that if your state requires a license, you have to go to beauty school, of course.
But that's really the only reason.
That is the only reason.
To get that piece of paper. Same reason I went to engineering school.
Yeah, you're playing by the rules.
Get the piece of paper.
You're playing by the rules. Get the piece of paper. Do it legally. Do it the right way. Whatever your state requires.
But don't waste your money.
But don't waste your hard-earned money that you could be investing in better education.
100%. And then once you save all your money on aesthetic school, spend that money on lash education.
Let's go. Specialized training, because that's fancy certificate of you going to beauty school, nobody cares.
No one cares.
Mine's not even on my wall. Mine is covered in barbecue sauce in the back of your truck. I'm not even kidding. That thing has gone through the ringer. But I mean, no one
cares.
No
one cares. It's even less like people care so
like
much.
My current licenses are on my wall, but it's like my diploma from that school.
No.
Again,
most people don't even know you need to go to aesthetic school to do lashes. So it's like,
which usually you do. So I went, and it was so funny because when I first considered becoming a beautician of some sort, I kind of shopped around fancy schools, and I was looking at like going to the Aveda Institute, and I looked at going to this fancy aesthetic school in Florida, and I was really, I was like, wow, like I have to pay, a lot of money to this place.
I don't got that kind of money.
And I'm 17. And I'm so glad that I went to the sketchiest school in my hometown.
It wasn't kind of a scary part
because
of town.
I cannot name one thing that I learned from that place. But
no. But you got the paper.
It was like I went in, I did my makeup for 3 hours in the mirror.
Boards. That's all that matters.
I passed my boards.
You got your hours.
Yeah.
That's all you need. That's all you need. Okay. I think we've beat this point.
Yeah.
What's next?
Number 3 is, I would invest as much of your income in that first year, like your first 100K or whatever, in bettering your business.
I mean, to be clear, your first year, you're probably not going to make 100K.
Yeah, but you might.
You might.
If you're listening to this podcast.
But if you're listening to this, if you do everything we tell you to do, guaranteed 100K in your pocket. If you don't, sue us. No, I'm kidding.
I would just be investing like your first year's profits back into your business.
100%. Anything you make that first year, like I think the goal when you're starting out, like this is what you did.
Yeah.
When you were first starting out, when you first had when you went independent, you were still living at your parents' house, which was great because you saved so much money on rent.
I was a teenager, yeah.
You had no car payment. You like barely went out to eat. You had like zero expenses. The only, honestly, and you still do this, the only thing you spent money, the only time you spent money was when you spent your tips.
Cash tips.
And so
cash tips only.
You didn't even spend your card tips.
I wouldn't even spend my card tips. No. I made it a point, and this was just like a little mental thing of mine, but like I knew that because I was starting a business young, I wanted to live as below my means as humanly possible. Because I think a lot of lash artists, it's very attractive to, like, they make a little money. They see those clients come in. They're making like $100 a fill or whatever, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go buy myself a new Mercedes. They're like, they immediately buy themselves a Louis Vuitton bag. They immediately splurge on vacations and all this crazy stuff. And I wasn't doing that stuff for years and years and years.
No.
I lived so below my means.
Yeah.
Like, nobody knew how much I was putting away because I was investing it all back into my business.
Absolutely. And that's so big. Like, by not spending the money you're making and investing it into your business, you're able to grow what you're doing so much faster. It's like you could get to $100 a fill and like taking 15 clients a week, and you're like doing pretty good.
It's exciting for people. They get a rush.
It's great. But like if you take that money that you're making from that and then you invest it in like using better products, and you invest it into making your space prettier, and you invest it into
not even big trainings, just the basic things.
100%.
What you use and where you are.
Oh yeah. Yeah, using better products is like the first thing you would probably do.
Yeah, I would say if you have a little money to reinvest in your business starting out, I think the first thing should be investing in very high quality products. Because I will say, clients do know. They do notice. They know when you're using crappy stuff. They know when you're using Amazon lashes. They know when their lashes feel or look plasticky. And that was the number one. Even when I was a beginner and I first started my business, my biggest priority was having great work and using great products. And a lot of my work was good because of the products I used.
They're easier to use. It makes your life better too.
It makes your life easier because
like if you when you go from using Amazon lashes to using like a good brand, like so much easier.
I'd rather spend $25 on a trade than $5 and my work look phenomenal.
100%.
Yeah, clients are going to know. And then when they see someone else, they can't see anyone else because they're like, oh my gosh, Maddie's lashes or your lashes feel better.
They feel
look better. When they have light shining on them, do they look like plastic or do they look like cashmere?
You want them to look like cashmere.
First thing to reinvest in, guess.
Yeah, big.
And I would also mention that this kind of is a recurring theme in your business's success. Like, even to this day, we still live below our means.
Oh, very far. Like, Madison still drives her Ford Escape.
Yeah.
Got no car payment on
I don't drive that Audi RS5. Elliot does.
Well, okay. And however, also with like the Audi, it's like, okay, we do spend more money now, but at this point, we still spend less than 10% of what we're making.
Absolutely.
So it's like we have scaled up our spending. So we're paying more in rent. We actually have a car payment now, but like the first car payment that we've ever had started 3 months ago.
Yeah.
This was the first car we ever bought that we actually like had payments for that was more than $10,000.
Yeah.
Every other car, well, actually the Escape was 13.
Every other vehicle I bought in cash.
Bought in cash, cheap vehicles. Like you can get a really nice car for like 10 grand. Like you can absolutely be driving something safe, reliable, 10 grand. You do not need to spend more than that.
It's good to splurge sometimes. And
100%. And that's the thing too. It's like we are spending more on rent. We are.
Yeah, we did
buy a nice car.
Life.
We go out to dinner.
But we could have.
We technically had the money to do that 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But because we didn't do that 3 years ago,
we were able to expand Lightheart so much.
100%. And so now we're able to do those things, and it is still only like 10% of our income.
Absolutely.
And we're still able to save like 90% of the income to reinvest it into the business. And the biggest reason that I'm okay with spending money on like the car and like higher rent and like going out to eat is because that 10% that we're spending, as opposed to spending like 5% of our income, isn't going to make a practical difference in the timeline it takes for us to achieve our goals. Like every money decision we make, like kind of the way I think about it is like, okay, by buying this, how much longer is it going to take for us to like save up enough money for the second location, or to save up enough money to do this or this or this.
It's all relative to the business's
so it's like
goals.
if we, like, I was looking at this car and I was like, okay, how far back is this going to push the second studios if we buy this car? And I'm like, okay, we look at the payments, it's like $1,000 a month times 12 months, it's like 12,000. We go over 2 years, it's like 24. Okay, it's gonna push the build out back like 2 weeks over the course of like a year and a half or 2 years. It's like, okay, I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
that's totally fine.
That's how we think about everything.
Yeah, and I'm fine with this major purchase pushing back something we wanted to do by two weeks, or like say we want to go on a nice vacation, like we're planning Italy vacation later this year. So excited. But I looked at it, I'm like, okay, how much are we going to spend for a nice Italy vacation? Okay, how much is this going to push back our plans? Okay, it'll push it back like a week, maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Fine. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I'll take 3 weeks in Italy to push back what we're doing by 2 weeks. Plus you have the like lost time in there. So it's probably more like 3 weeks as we're not working for that week. But like whatever. Like we still want to live.
Yeah.
You shouldn't feel like, oh, I have to be like the most frugal person forever.
No, not at all.
There's some people who like are super rich, doing super well in their business, and they're still like, they think so much about like, okay, I need my coffee to cost 20 cents per day and I cannot spend money on espresso. But it's like,
live your life, babes. But
but the thing is, the time they're spending thinking about that, in the energy they're putting into saving that $10, $100 a month, they could be putting that brain power towards making an extra 2,000 because of where they're at in their business. So it's like, it's all about looking at how much money is coming in, where your energy should go, and then how much you have to like to live.
Period.
And like to have a good time.
Period.
Like we are not Dave Ramsey saying that you should never have a credit card and
not
you should
at
never
all.
Like our goal is to have a super fun life, and in order to do that, we want to build like a big business.
They go hand in hand.
They go hand in hand.
I was just saying, like, a lot of lash artists, they start making a little bit of money and they immediately blow it on the most frivolous,
100%
crazy stuff.
If you are not like fully booked, maxed out your prices, you should not be buying like a new European car.
Yeah,
you should not do it. Also, you should not be buying a new. Like, okay, if you are in the position where you're like, I'm going to buy a new Mercedes, don't buy a new one. We bought the RS5, super nice car. It's a 2019 though.
Wrapped it, yeah.
Oh yeah, but like we saved $40,000 on it by not buying a new one and just buying a 2019. It was 3 years old.
Be a smart girl. Being smart is cool.
Buy a 3-year-old car.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay, my point number 5 was, I would tell my younger self this.
Yes.
Don't take advice from anyone. And it's very attractive to want to take advice from your friends or people that you spend a lot of time chatting with.
This one's a hot take.
Yeah.
It's a hot take, but it is very, very true.
Yeah. It's a hard truth, but don't take advice from anyone. And that's not to say you don't love everyone in your life. You don't love your closest friends and all that stuff.
And you can still talk to people about what you're doing.
Of course. But
just
I would
include your friends in your life.
Yes, of course. But I would be very, very wary of who you ask business advice from.
100%. Don't take advice from people who are less successful than you want to be.
Yeah.
Not just where you're at now. If you see someone who's like one step ahead of you, you can get some advice from them. They can teach you some things. Like if there's someone who's like fully booked in your area and you're like getting coffee with them or something, you're like, wow, how'd you like get booked and stuff?
Yeah.
Like absolutely.
But a lot of people are held back because they're still hanging out with the same people that they went to like middle and high school with.
Absolutely.
And they're like, what do you think I should do in my lash business? Do you think I should take this training or should I use this?
Girl, they don't know.
They don't know.
They don't know.
And asking people's opinions that have no, like, you can include them in your life and like, have those conversations.
Tell them, but tell them what you're doing. Don't ask them what you should be doing.
Absolutely.
Say, hey, these are the things I'm working on. This is what I'm really excited about right now. And don't let them, if you're telling them about what you're excited about, don't let them be like, oh, wow, that's kind of crazy. And don't let them make you second guess what you're doing.
And surround yourself with people that make you want to be better.
Yeah, that are doing better than you are and who are a lot closer to where you want to be than where you are right now.
You don't want to be the smartest person in the room.
You absolutely do not.
I don't like being the smartest person in the room.
Oh, no, I hate it. And I always am.
Except right now.
Yeah, totally. Except for right now.
Yeah, Elliot's always so intimidated to hang out with me.
I am.
Every time we're alone, he's always like, I'm so scared.
What you guys don't know is that
idiot.
this is the only time we spend over 5 minutes together.
It is. He gets too intimidated.
I do. I get too intimidated. Every time we're at home and we're in the same room, I have to run away because Madison's like, she says all these smart things, and I'm just like, ah.
He's got to go play video games in his enclosure.
Yeah, I gotta go have enrichment time.
Meanwhile, I'm running the business.
Yeah, she's got 5 monitors in front of her. She's like typing like in the Matrix. She's like, I gotta hack the mainframe.
Okay, and that leads into, I think you should keep your business somewhat private.
Yeah, a little bit.
Which
is ironic coming from us because we have made a business out of being very, very open about everything we're doing.
But we are very open about everything we're doing, but we have worked in silence.
For a very long time. We weren't telling everyone, or you weren't telling everyone about what you were doing at the beginning. You weren't telling everyone like, oh, I took 6 clients today and they all tipped me really well and I made $700 today. Awesome. We talked about it.
Our entire business, now we're at a point, closer to a decade later, on giving every single ounce of knowledge we have to
100%.
Others. That is our business.
And that's why we are so open about everything.
Everything.
Because I am of the belief that no one has any reason to listen to us unless we demonstrate that
they can trust us.
Exactly. That we are honest with them and we actually are doing what we say we're doing.
That's why we do the podcast.
Because
so people 100%. Can trust us and they know we know what we're talking about. And we can build some sort of camaraderie. You feel like you're talking to your friends. 100%. We feel like we're talking to our friends. And it builds this community. But for those first, 5-ish formative years,
you were hustling with your head down. You nose to the grindstone.
Yeah.
Hustling in silence.
I was pretty private about my business. I really didn't share a lot with friends or family. My big successes and my lowest L's, whatever you want to call them, my dubs and my L's,
biggest dubs.
I kind of kept a lot to myself.
Oh yeah,
because
100%.
I was also just learning as I went.
Yeah, 100%.
Especially with the build out.
Yeah.
I barely talked about the build out.
That is true.
And everyone was like, "Show us more behind the scenes. Give us more. Give us more."
But it sucked.
But it was such a trial and error, and it was so new to me that I didn't have advice to give.
No, 100%. We were still figuring it out.
When we started the build, I would post snippets on my story of just here's how the floor looks, here's how the, we had a meeting with the architect. I had little bits and pieces, but I would never give someone the full picture of what I'm doing because I wasn't in a position to give advice. I wasn't in a position to teach about it. I 100%. Wasn't in a position to share that with the world. I would just be private about certain things.
Absolutely.
Until you're in a position to lead or help
do
someone
the
else.
thing and then you can talk about it.
Absolutely.
And even today, the stuff that we're working on right now, we'll tease stuff, but we don't talk about what we're actively working on when we go home because it's one, it could change at any time. We were working on a concept for this new program we're coming out with for 2 months, and then we realized, you know what, we want to do something totally different.
And I completely changed
and we
the
completely
whole program.
changed it. But if we had been talking about it publicly
and hyping it up
and this is what we're gonna do, it's gonna be so sick, and then we realize oh, maybe this isn't the best path forward, then it would feel really silly to be okay guys, actually never mind. It's sorry
I'm stupid,
sorry about that.
Yeah,
so we didn't say anything, and now we can change it super easy, and I think the new idea is far better, so it works.
Thanks,
it's great.
Honey.
You're so smart. And honestly, the first concept we had for it was my idea, and then Madison was like, what if we did this instead? I was like, that is a so much better idea. And there's a reason that she is the CEO and I am only a administrative assistant.
The CEO.
The CEO.
Girl boss in charge.
You are the boss babe in chief.
Just a girl boss building her empire.
That's you, baby.
Actually, my mom bought me a candle that said a girl boss building her empire. And
Really?
She bought it for me for the grand opening. And
it matches the shirt your dad got you that says Lash Hustler.
My parents, I love the things they give me. No, like unironically, they are so supportive. They are literally so sweet.
They are
like
so supportive.
my mom bought me a candle for the grand opening. It said just a girl boss building her empire. I burned that thing, and I burned that. Is it on? Is it?
Yeah, it's recording.
Okay, I burned that thing to the ground. I love that candle. It was so funny. And then my dad bought me a shirt for Christmas that said Lash Hustler.
Lash Hustler. And then he also got her a subscription to Hustlers University.
No, he did not.
No, I'm kidding.
No, I love my parents. Okay, and the last two advice I would give myself if I could go back in time would be to specialize as soon as humanly possible.
ASAP.
And by specialize, I mean find that niche in your industry and be as good at that thing as you possibly can. Be better at that thing than anyone else. So
Absolutely.
if you are a lash artist and you're working on clients, you're starting up your business, I was under the impression that you had to learn every single lash style known to man. And so I took a lot of Russian volume classes. I had hybrids on my menu for a while.
You have to do lifts, tints.
I was doing lash lifts, tints, classics, hybrids, volumes, Russian volumes, American volumes, mega volume, all of the things. And I only cared about doing mega volume. My clients only cared about mega volume. So I was
like, why are you offering all this?
And so it kind of threw me off my game when someone booked like a Russian volume full set. Because I was like, whoa, like.
No, yeah, that would happen, and then you would spend like the entire night practicing beforehand because you were like, I haven't done a Russian volume.
Yes, do you remember how nervous I would get?
Yeah.
I'd
and
be
it's like, and I don't know why we didn't like realize it earlier. It took us a long time.
That wasn't my specialty.
Like,
I wish when I found mega volume and it was that one thing that kind of sparked a little joy in my heart, and it was something that like I was good at. I wish that I just focused on that and advertised it more, committed to it, and that was my thing.
100%.
Because if you specialize in something, you can charge more, and people will
absolutely. And I get why people feel the need to diversify because they're like, you know what, it de-risks. It's if I offer every style, then I could get so many more clients. But we've talked about this before. It's the opposite. The more you specialize in something, the better at that thing you get, and then you're able to charge more, and the people who do want that thing will find you and they will love you for it, as opposed to someone who's just at everything.
A lot of things.
So
like
good.
it was so funny. I think like a year ago someone booked a lash lift with me, and I was like, girl, I don't even remember how to do a lash lift. I was like on YouTube before she came in. I was like,
yeah, you're like, what are we doing here?
Specialize as soon as possible. Find that thing that sets your heart ablaze, and work really hard to be exceptionally good at that thing. Then that'll be your thing, girl. And then I think the final piece of advice,
what is it?
Was take pictures of absolutely every single thing that you do.
Everything.
For you.
And that for you. You don't need to post them.
No.
Take the picture and then zoom in, pick it apart, figure out what did I do wrong? What can I improve on? Be your own biggest critic. If you're your own biggest critic, that's how you improve.
Constant improvement.
Always.
Constant feedback. And it's positive. It's a constructive thing. It's not like
100%. You shouldn't be beating yourself down like,
no. Don't pick apart your work like crazy. But when I first started, I remember I was taking I would take very few pictures. So I actually don't have a lot of my old work to look back on because I only have like maybe a handful of pictures from my salon days, and then maybe like 5 pictures of my camera roll of my first year. That's it, because I was so embarrassed of my work. I would take a photo and I would just be like, ooh, no one will see that. But I should have been taking photos of every fill and full set I did.
And then you can see your progress.
And even pictures of like irritations, allergies, foreign fills, like just for myself, like not to show anyone else, but to look back and be like, okay, how could I improve on this? And when you're actually at home at night after a long lashing day and you're looking through those photos, I'd be like, oh, I could have tape backed and worked more on this in her corner. Or, oh my gosh, she still has lashes left over. I should allot myself more time. Like, you can use all that stuff and just be constantly like giving yourself great feedback, because a lot of the time you know the answers.
Yeah.
You
just need to internalize them.
Yeah, you need to trust yourself enough to know what looks good. You know the answers, and you know how to improve your work. It's all inside of you.
Oh, yeah.
You just need to be taking those pictures and open yourself up to giving yourself constructive feedback.
Because when you're looking back on it, you're going to see so much that, like, while you're in the set It's like you're trying to go fast. You're not trying to, like, you're not going to think about it.
You're talking to your client. You're making sure they're comfortable. There's music going.
Like, it takes a long time to get all that stuff on, like, autopilot.
Yeah.
All this stuff. And so by looking back at it and actively thinking, that's your time to be like, okay, these are the things that I can work on. And then every day when you're doing fills or full sets or whatever you're doing during your day, if you just think of one of the things that you saw in your sets that you can improve, and just think about that one thing throughout the day and work on fixing that one little thing.
Yeah.
Then that'll help get it internalized. That'll put it on autopilot, and then you can move on to the next thing. You don't need to fix everything all at once.
Totally. And I have students who, I mean, if you have a mentor or a past trainer that has given you access to them where, like, you can reach out to them from time to time.
Oh, send them little pickies.
Yeah, I encourage a lot of my students to send me pictures as time has gone on. And they'll be like, hey, can you critique this fill or full set I did? And then, you know, and they trust me enough to help them with that critique.
Yeah.
But then it gets to a point where I don't need to be looking at their work, picking it apart, you know.
Because they know.
They know. And after a couple times of sending it to me, I'll be like, okay, you know, you got it from here, girl.
Wonderful.
And taking pictures is so important because you can look back and see how far your work has come. A lot of the time you can beat yourself up about your current work, but if you don't have your work 3 years ago to look back on, you're always going to think you suck. But if you look at your work from 3 years ago, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm amazing. Look how far I've actually come.
That is true.
One thing I would not do with all those pictures is I would not post them in Facebook groups.
No. It's the blind leading the blind in most of the Facebook groups, except ours, Lightheart Lash Besties.
Woo!
Join it right now.
Lightheart Lash
It's
Besties.
the best. It's the best Facebook group on the planet.
It is. We have a really positive and encouraging Facebook group called Lightheart Lash Besties, and
exclusively for baddies and besties.
Yeah, and the number one rule in that group is you post whatever you want, but you have to start it off as hello baddies and besties, and then you can ask your question.
I love it. Okay, so to recap this very informative episode: 1, lashes are the best. To be a lash artist. 2, go to a cheap aesthetic school. You
3,
don't need to spend money.
Yes.
3, invest in your education.
Wow, you're really remembering all of them.
Oh, I remember so much. And then to add that, we didn't talk about this earlier. When you're starting out in your career, price your stuff reasonably.
Yes.
Price it reasonably for your area. You are a beginner.
Yeah.
You're not going to get any clients if you're pricing super high. Everyone
and your
knows
work
that.
sucks, yeah.
And your work sucks. Price
it's
reasonably.
It's okay for your work to suck.
Improve work 100%. You're not working to earn, you're working to learn at the beginning.
Oh,
period. And then as you learn, as you improve, your number one priority is getting good enough to get your books fully filled at your price point.
You're not working to earn.
You're working to learn. That's a good one-liner. This is the clip. Mia, clip it.
Clip it, Mia.
Clip it. Okay. No, but then once you have learned you're passable, fill your books. That's your number one priority is marketing yourself to fill your books. Once your books are filled, then do a price raise. Raise them like 20%, 25%. Your goal is that 25% of your clients drop off.
You can't do anything if you don't have clients.
You can't do anything. So first fill your books, then raise your prices, and then you can rinse and repeat that bad boy. Just fill your books again, raise your prices again. Fill your books again, raise your prices again until you're like top priced in your area. You're like at the top, tip top. Everyone in your area is like, how are you charging so much? And then you tell them, I watched the Lash 2 Brain Cells podcast and they taught me how to do this. And then once you are at the tip top of your area, then people are going to start asking you. They're going to be like, hey, can you train me? I want to learn. And then boom, you just got your first training. Do not be a trainer before you're priced highest in your area. Don't do it. Don't do it. I know you want to. So many people want to, but don't do it. If you wait, I promise it'll be so much better. Then once you do a bunch of trainings, then you're in the position like you've gotten a year of training under your belt. Then you can think about doing some digital products. We honestly, we didn't even talk about this. We started selling digital products totally by accident.
Should I just randomly mention that?
Yeah. I mean, we're only 40 minutes in.
Yeah, I did start selling digital products completely by accident, like, which is funny because it's like my whole business now. But when I think it was only a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
A year and a half ago, a girl messaged me on Instagram and she said, hey, you talk a lot about doing detailed consultations and you know, all that stuff. Do you have consent forms? And I was like, of course, yes. And she was like, okay, well, I want to make my...
She's like, did you make them yourself? And I was like, yeah,
yes.
Obviously.
And she was like, oh, can I see yours? And I was like, yes. And then she was like, can I buy them? And I was like, I don't sell them, but like,
I mean, I guess.
And I was like, and so I sent her my consultation form in an email, and she
sent you $40.
Here's the thing. I'm friendly, guys. I'm overly friendly. You can ask me for the shirt off my back. I'll be like, oh, okay.
It's $10.
I don't even want it anyway. No, but I am a little overly friendly sometimes.
That is true.
And sometimes to a fault. But she was like, thank you so much. I didn't even tell her I wanted her to pay me.
Oh yeah, you just gave it to her.
Because
what?
Who cares? I don't care.
It's just a consent form.
It's just a consent form. So I was like, yeah, like I'll email you my consent form. They're unbranded. Like you can, throw them.
Yeah, put your logo on it.
Yeah, and I was like, you can upload it into DocuSign, have your client sign it.
Easy peasy.
Whatever. And then she was like, oh my gosh, let me pay you. These are so good. And I was like, oh, okay.
Oh,
and then I said,
interesting.
pay me whatever you think they're valued at to my Venmo.
Mm-hmm.
And she Venmoed me $40. And I was like, awesome. So
and they were like, maybe we should put these on
so
the
we put them
website.
on the website for $40.
Yeah, we did. Well, 35, I think. Or no, 37.
They were $37.
$37.
And then we sold a crap ton of them.
Sold a bunch of them. And then we're like, we should do digital products.
Yes.
This is great. And now.
Then, no. And then the second thing was I said, well,
manual.
my training manual is really good.
Yep.
What if we put it up on my website? So we started selling my training manual, and then everyone and their mother copied it. And
then we're like, ooh, maybe we shouldn't.
And then we were like, no more manual. This is why you can't have nice things.
We got so many emails of people who are like, hey, so I'm having trouble printing this off and binding it. And we're like,
why would you print it off and bind it?
Why are you printing it off? And they're like, and also, do you have one without your logos on it? We're like, wait a second. Wait a second. I know what you're trying to do.
You're bad.
Don't do that.
You bad girls.
Make your own manual. This is for you to learn. This isn't for you to just print it off and give it to your students.
You stingers.
And so that is why we no longer sell
more manual.
the manual on the website. So if you were trying to buy the manual and you're like, why can't I buy it anymore? It's because other people ruined it for you.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, if you want my manual, you
can send us a really nice DM and say, I promise that I will never give it to students of mine, and then we'll send it
for
to
sure, girl. Or you can take a training with me and
actually, you know what? Never mind. Yeah, you have to take a training now.
Yeah,
and we're getting him in hardcover now.
Ooh,
so if you take a training,
you guys, I am
obsessed.
I'm obsessed with making digital products. I love it, but I
obsessed.
Like revamp my manuals like every 6 months.
She does. That's another reason that we sell out of all the training. Oh, also,
we're selling out of all the trainings.
Literally, guys. Okay, this is just like check-in happy time.
Can we just chit chat?
Okay.
If you were listening for advice, you can leave now. But if you just want to like see how Maddie and Elliot's week is going, then you can stay.
Maddie and Elliot's week is going incredible
because Baddies and Besties chat.
Baddies and Besties chat, fireside chat. We put up.
We should dim the lights.
We should.
And it's just our friends listening to us talk.
I could dim the lights. I'm gonna do that while I talk. So we put up 2 new class dates.
May and June.
Because 2 days ago.
January, February, March, April are not only sold out, but they're oversold out. So we sell them out of 6 seats, and they all have 8 people in them. Ooh,
we're dimming the lights.
Just the besties.
Just the besties here. Ooh.
Just the girls.
Beautiful. Yeah, so we put up 2 new dates for May and June.
So I was like,
14 spots.
So I was like, I'll throw out May and June, and we'll add an extra seat, so it'll be 7.
Well, do 7 spots. We were doing 6 spots per class, but then every class we had 2 people asking, like, please, can I get in? And we're like, all right. So we're like, okay, we'll just make them 7 because we can fit 7. It doesn't impact the quality of the class or anything. We're like, okay, we'll make them 7. And then, guys, in less than 30 hours, we sold out all 14 spots.
And 2 private trainings
and 2 private trainings with Katie. What?
And
bro,
we did this from 1 Instagram post and 1 email.
1 Instagram post, 1 email. And then I was like, and then we sent out 1 email too. So we have on the page of the website for the group trainings, we have like an email opt-in where it's like you can get updates for when we release trainings like before anyone else. And so then we had like 30 people sign up for that over the last we've only had it up for like 2 weeks or something.
Yeah.
And then I sent that out. We got immediately like 3 signups from that email. And then a couple hours later we posted it on Instagram.
It was just pictures of me, and I was just like, new dates, whoa.
New dates. We got another 10 from that over the next day, and then I was like, oh shoot, I should send it out to our like 5 6,000 person email list.
Yeah.
And then I did. I'm like, hey, so there's only one spot left here, but you could sign up for it. And so then we sold the last spot from that. But I was like, oops, sorry, main email list.
So freaking crazy, you guys.
I didn't think it was going to sell out that fast. I thought I had more time to send out that email.
But it's just so nice because my whole...
No, it feels so good.
Well, it feels so good for me because it's like my whole job for the last few years as a basically full-time educator has been to market the living daylights out of my trainings, because it's like if you're, no one else is your marketing team when you're self-employed. Like I have been marketing my little pants off for 2 years.
Yep.
And that's how I've been able to sell 300 something trainings is because I have been posting consistently every day pictures, videos, student testimonials, reviews.
Well, and for a while when you were starting with the group trainings, we had it on the website where people could sign up for calls where we would talk to them about the group trainings.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
I did so many calls.
We were even doing consultation calls where people would set up a time where Elliot, because I was so busy, Elliot would physically be on the phone with girls 3-4 times a day.
I did like over 100 calls. Which,
are you lying?
No, yeah, I did. Yeah,
You did over 100 calls.
Yeah.
To get students.
Yeah, just like during the day.
Oh my gosh. And so it's like such a blessing, honestly, to just be able to, like, at this point,
that now we don't have to do any of that.
We've built so much street cred and reputation that just naturally that we can literally say new dates, hot off the press. And I don't have to explain the courses.
No.
I don't have to tell anyone what the kit includes.
It is so
what
nice.
the day includes, what the hour. I don't have to tell anyone anything. And they just are booked.
And the only reason...
It's amazing.
The only reason that we're at that point is just because the quality of the training is so good.
It's just a good training.
It's just a good training. And one of the reasons... Actually, the reason we started talking about this is because you were talking about how you are constantly improving like your manual and you're fixing it and you're adding stuff, and that's the reason.
It's literally it's kind of like, you know what they say, like humans like their skin cells completely regenerate after like 7 years, or I don't know the exact thing, but it's like after a certain amount of years, like you physically like shed your entire skin, you're like basically a new person. That's kind of like my trainings. Like,
a little bit.
My trainings a year ago are not even close to what they are today.
It's like, okay, so
they were still good trainings then, but they're constantly getting better and better and better and better.
100%.
Just because I'm constantly reinvesting, I'm constantly learning more, I'm constantly streamlining things. And I'm never thinking like, how can I add to my trainings? I'm thinking, how can I physically, like, what's the word? Not add to it, but I want people to get more in less time.
Yeah, just improve upon it.
Yeah, like...
Yeah, and that's the reason that they're still only 1 day. That's the reason they're not 4-day trainings, is because, like, instead of thinking, okay, what are things that we can add, like, 2 hours to the training and teach someone? No, like, all we're thinking
I'm trying to figure out how to put 7 years into 1 day.
100%. Absolutely.
I want people to get as much information in the shortest and most effective time unit as possible.
Yeah, and that's why I don't think we'll ever, like, make them multi-day trainings, because it's like,
I think
even though people are more okay spending more on multi-day trainings, the thing is, like, I want to reshape the way that, like, people who are looking at our trainings think about it into them thinking about, like, okay, is it more valuable for me if I learn this in 1 day or 2 days? Well, it's more valuable if you learn it in 1 day. Because, like, if you think about it in a more extreme way, like, is it more valuable to me if I learn this in 1 day or in 1 month and I'm there every day for a month? It's like, well, obviously it'd be better to do it for a day, because it's like you're not wasting a whole month of your life. So if we're able to take the training and just pack so much into it, and plus you only have to come out for 1 day if you want, or if you want to make a little trip out of it, you do a little cute weekend in Scottsdale.
Yeah, you
get 2 days to yourself.
People like a 1 day training, because honestly,
it's awesome.
I've taken LASH trainings that are a couple days long, and it's like by the second day,
it's like everyone's exhausted.
Yeah, it's kind of an overload of information, and
it
just makes you feel like you're in college again.
Yeah.
So.
And that's why we make the manual so good too, so that, like, we know that you can't intake all the information in just 1 day, so we have it all in the manual so you can keep going back over and over again, and like the manual is a key part of the training. Yeah, but it's like in a
lot of my students just keep their manual on their cart just to read every day.
Absolutely. And that's the way that people get so much value out of the trainings, and that's why it's worth, like, so much more than what people are paying for it.
Yeah.
It's just like in the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, one of the things he talks about is how the British cycle team, one of the principles that turned them from like the last place cycle team in the world to like being the first place over the course of like 5 years, is they got this new coach. And the new coach's whole thing was that every like week they just wanted to improve what they were doing by 1%. And then they just improve it, or it might have been every day. They wanted to improve it by 1%. And then if you keep doing that 1% better every time, like you with your trainings, you improve them just by like 2%, 3% every time.
My goal is every training is better than the last.
Absolutely. And it compounds. And now it's like the best training in the world.
Yeah.
It is the best training in the world. Don't forget that. Sign up.
You can't.
You sign up for our alerts list, and then you will be able to sign up as soon as we drop new spots.
I don't think we'll have to advertise them ever again. But basically, if you want the Light Heart training experience, you can book a one-on-one private training with
Katie.
Katie Gonzalez,
and she's the best.
Master
Light
lash
Heart
trainer.
Katie.
Light Heart Katie. Find her on Instagram. She teaches.
They are just as good as a group.
Shout out to Katie. Well, they're, I think, better because you have a live model.
Obsessed.
It's the same curriculum, but
Period.
you have a one-on-one day. So if you're an introvert, it's introvert friendly. You're not in a group.
Friendly.
And it is the same
And you could learn
day.
classic if you want.
You can learn classics or mega volume. She has both options, and they're hosted in my room at Light Heart Studios, and you get a live model to work on. You don't even have to bring your model. Katie will find you a model.
This ain't no second-rate experience.
Yep.
You get the full Light Heart experience.
Yep. So group classes sold out. Don't worry about it.
Book
a one-on-one with Katie. You can literally book it as soon as February, March. Like, she has dates available. Go to the website.
We love it.
Anything
else?
No, I love you.
I love you so much. What a good episode. Sorry the end of it kind of devolved, but it was just, I thought it was fun.
We just wanted to chat.
Honestly, with our besties.
You guys are just our friends. Like, the people that listen to this are not strangers. Like, they are
That's true.
People that I genuinely know and care about, and they message me on Instagram, tell me they love the podcast. Like, every single message I get on Instagram, that's like...
The message, every time Madison gets a nice message about the podcast, she texts it to me, and I'm like...
No, I do.
I always send the like teary emoji where it's like the happy tears. That's every single time. I'm like,
no, any message you send to me on Instagram, even if it's like love the podcast girl, I screenshot it, I send it to Elliot, we do a little happy dance.
We go.
It makes us so happy. Like, this is something that, you know, we are very busy people. We don't get paid to do this. Liquid Death isn't sponsoring us.
It's 8:30 p.m. right now.
We always film it very late at night because it's after our long work days. This is just something we truly love to do to pour back into you guys. So it means the world to us when you guys listen and you care. And that's why we wanted to spend the last 20 minutes talking to you about what's going on in our life, because like, you guys care about us. We care about you.
Love it.
That's what friendship is.
So
wish I could give you all a little.
Yeah. So come to, if you are a Last Two Brain Cells listener, come to Light Heart Studios, and we will give each of you a little kiss on the forehead.
Yeah. If you literally come in and you come to the coffee shop and you say, I listen to Last Two Brain Cells.
Then Caleb will say, okay, I know what that means. Madison, get out here.
And he'll come get me from my room. Up. And I'll be like, oh, you're a podcast listener. Oh, and I'll give you a little kiss on the forehead. That's how much I love you.
Yep. So
have a good night, you guys.
Have a good one.
Love you so much. Smooches.